BCWSA, Fogo de Show, Penn Community Bank, Chickies and Pete's, and the Capitol Grill Center City. Now, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Tommy Greene.
All right, welcome to the Bull Session presented by BCWSA Utilities. We're live from Chickies and Pete's in Parx, Casino, PA. I'm John Brazer. Do I say Director of Fun and Games?
Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's.
Director of Fun and Games,
Tonight's
right?
show is brought to you
Director of
by
Fun and Games,
Toyota,
formerly of the Phillies, but I'll stop that going forward.
Fogo de Show,
Always Fun and Games. Thank you, Tommy. And I'm joined by, you just heard him right there, my co-host, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene, the 1993 World Series team. And Tommy, we got a great guest today. We've had him on our podcast before. That I do with Tommy Greene. He's former Temple star. Well, first, let's go earlier. Former Judge star, former Temple star,
a weekly recap
Red
of
Sox
your
manager,
2025
longtime
Philadelphia Phillies,
including the
broadcasting
Expos,
live
the
from
Red
Chickies
Sox,
and Pete's.
the Phillies,
Tonight's
and
show
the
is brought
Yankees,
to
and the
you
Pirates,
by Team Toyota,
and Phillies fans know him as Phillies pitching coach,
Fogo
Joe
de
Kerrigan.
Show,
What's up,
Penn
Joe?
Community Bank.
Did I cover everything?
Chickies and Pete's,
Yeah, that's a lot of
and
teams.
the
We love the
Capitol Grill
I-95
Center
corridor,
City.
all the way
Now,
up and down
here are your
I-95.
hosts.
Well, your timing with the Phillies was perfect because it was the last year of the vet, and it was the first year at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, growing up.
This is the Bull Session, a weekly recap of your 2025 Philadelphia Phillies. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's. Tonight's show
and you went to high school, as I said, Father Judge. And Father Judge, you grew up in, or that's in Mayfair, correct? Right. And you guys had, I think, like 3,000 students at the time, something like 700 people in class.
Capitol Grill
Yeah,
Center
our
City.
graduating class was a little
Now,
over
here are
700,
your
I
hosts,
believe.
Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer,
You didn't know any better
and
back then.
Tommy
It's just the way it is.
Greene.
The way of growing up in a classroom.
And were you in high school when you played at the vet? There was like a
Yes.
right?
weekly
We had the
recap of your
Catholic League championship
2025
there in
Philadelphia
1971
Phillies.
against St. John.
Broadcasting
And it was
live from
before
Chickies
the
and
Phillies
Pete's.
San Diego
Tonight's show is
doubleheader.
brought to
It
you
was on a
by
Sunday.
Team
It was helmet
Toyota,
day.
BCWSA,
And we started at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Fogo
The
de
Phillies
Show,
would start at
Penn Community Bank,
1:15.
Chickies
And
and
by about the
Pete's,
6th or 7th
and
inning
the
of our
Capitol
team,
Grill
because it was
Center
helmet day,
City. Now,
there had to be
here are
30,
your hosts,
35,000 people.
Phillies
That's
Director
awesome.
of Fun
And
and
it was
Games, John
unbelievable.
Brazer,
That's
Yeah,
and
imagine that in high school. Yeah,
Tommy
35,000 people came out to see
man.
my high school game.
So the game ended up a tie. We played into the
This
8th
is
inning.
the Bull
eighth
Session,
inning,
a weekly
and then
recap
that
of
was
your
it. They had a time constraint
2025
on it, and
Philadelphia
it was something
Phillies.
else. And,
Broadcasting
you look
live
up, I
from
was-
Chickies
I
and
was
Pete's.
pitching.
Tonight's
Pitched
show
all
is
8
brought
innings.
to
You
you
look up, and
by
I
Team
remember walking up, and
Toyota,
it's like,
BCWSA.
It was amazing.
You didn't
Fogo
realize
de
it,
Show,
did you?
Yeah, you did.
Penn
You
Community
didn't hit
Bank,
you really.
Hey, you were already
Chickies
primed
and
and ready to
Pete's,
go. You
and
don't
the
see
Capitol
a lot of
Grill
kids,
Center
a lot of
City.
young guys that
Now,
they get
here
in all
are
of
your
that. They
hosts,
start
Right.
Phillies
Yeah.
like
Director
that.
of Fun and
He's locked
Games,
in
Well,
early.
John
playing at the
Brazer,
Fluster in
and
basketball
Tommy
helped.
Greene.
My
Yeah.
junior and
Yep.
senior year, that helped a lot. Whenever people, well, how'd you
This
handle
is
fouls?
the
Well,
Bull Session,
when you
a
play
weekly
Catholic League
recap of your
basketball in
2025
you can handle any
Philadelphia
big
Phillies.
Right,
Broadcasting
well, then you
live
go on to
from
Temple,
Chickies and Pete's.
And
Tonight's show is
you were
brought
part of
to
a
you
historic
by
Temple
Team
team because
Toyota,
you went to the World Series. You went to
BCWSA,
the College World Series,
Fogo
Tommy, in
de Show,
1972
Penn Community
with Texas,
Bank,
Oklahoma,
Chickies and
USC,
Pete's,
Arizona
and
State,
the Capitol
Iowa,
Grill Center
right?
City.
I mean, there was some
Now,
big name,
here
there's some
are
big
your
name
hosts,
players too.
Phillies
Yeah.
Director
Right?
of Fun and
Bump Willis,
Games,
I think,
John
Bump
Brazer,
Willis was
and
Bump
Tommy.
Bump Will.
Yep.
Lynn's, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Fred
they-
Lynn.
Fred Lynn and some great
Freddie.
pitchers.
I grew up watching Freddie.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. And I was lucky because I think I was the first freshman pitcher to participate in the College World Series. Back then, you had to get a special exemption. I think you're only allowed 1 or 2 to take into the playoffs of the College World Series. And I was one of the first ones allowed to pitch as a freshman in the College World Series. And that was
So why
that
did they
was
have
a
that
lucky
rule
break.
to protect young
well
arms?
for years they had the 3-year rule.
Right, I remember
You know,
that.
you had to play on the freshman team, which I did at Temple the first year. It was the Lou Alcindor rule, really.
Gotcha. Right,
Yeah,
right.
back then. So it was everybody freshman, and you're allowed 3 years to play as a varsity member.
And you guys won a game, right? In the College
We
World
won
Series.
2 games. We were 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah, I got my
Yeah.
big break. I got a save and a win. I pitched 7 scoreless innings there, and that's where scouts noticed me. Last year in high school, over 1,600 kids drafted. No, I wasn't drafted. And then 2 years later, I was the 9th pick in the country
In the January draft.
in the
Right?
January draft.
Yeah.
So I went from not being drafted out of almost 1,700 kids to the 9th pick in the country 2 years later, simply because of the exposure I got in the College World Series.
Yeah, right. Now,
right place, right time.
That's it.
And you pitched too in the in Cape Cod League.
Yeah.
Right.
How'd you enjoy that?
Not so much.
You didn't?
No, I didn't like.
I've heard a lot of people
didn't like working and then playing at night.
Right.
You know, it was very regimented, but you worked hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a carpenter's assistant, and boy, you were working hard. You were hammering nails, picking up lumber, and by the time 6 o'clock rolled around, you were beat during the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I never went through anything like that. I got drafted out of high school, and I never got exposed. I've always heard guys talk about that, what kind of league and stuff it was.
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously it was tough. Working and stuff like that, but they really enjoyed playing there, though.
Yeah. The lights were beautiful. The crowds were great. It was a relaxed atmosphere. Can you imagine playing baseball?
Well, it's like Americana. It's,
my God.
Tables of selling hot dogs and T-shirts. And
it was right out of a movie.
Right.
It really was.
Which it was a movie, Summer Catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also where the scouts really love to look at that league very closely, because the first time really players are using wooden bats, and you see that you get to see
how some top-ranked guys play there,
right?
Too good quality guys play. See if they can handle that wood bat,
right?
And you're playing against the cream of the crop,
mm-hmm.
California, Texas, Florida. I mean, you're playing against everybody else's best stud.
Yep.
Whether it be college or junior college, it was some kind of league.
Now how about this, Tommy? So he gets drafted by the Expos, as we mentioned. Tell the story about your major league debut, because it's a wild story about talking about promotional night. You mentioned helmet night.
Oh.
This one was, can you believe they had this promotion where, and I'll let you describe it, but I'll give you the general terms. You know how the Sixers, when they have a game, if someone misses 2 free throws,
bricking for chicken.
Right. Everyone gets chicken, right? They're all yell for chicken. The fans go nuts. They had this promotion, which I can't believe this took place in Major League Baseball. But Joe, explain. This is his debut too.
Houston Astros. It was called Foamer Night. If a certain batter on the opposing team struck out, there was free beer the rest of the night.
Holy cow!
And how do they choose? That opposing?
They chose the Expos because we were going to get only 12, 15,000 people in the Astrodome, and we were losing 100 games at the time. So it was Larry Durker was pitching.
Durker?
And the guy's name that they picked out of our lineup was Pete McCannon. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Phillies manager.
No, wait. Was this random or is this?
Oh, it's random.
Okay,
it's random.
So it could be the cleanup hitter, it could be the leadoff hitter.
But the other trick was they had a huge scoreboard and they had a digital clock there. Well, the batter had to strike out. Pete McCannon had to strike out on an even number on the clock, like it had to be 8:24 or 8:26.
My God,
it's very complicated.
It's I believe it's the sixth or seventh inning, and Pete's up there, and it's 1-2, and Larry Durker's pitching. Okay, well, it's like an odd number, so Pete steps out, gets back in, adjusts the dirt, clock turns to an even number. Pete strikes out. There's 15,000 people gone up for free beer. That was my debut in the major leagues.
So there was
that night.
There's 10 people in the stands
watching me pitch.
Right.
Everybody else.
And
right.
And Larry Durker pitched a no-hitter that night.
Really?
How about that?
And as far as I know, I'm a trivia question.
Sound like my game in Montreal.
the last major league player to make his debut in a no-hitter.
Wow.
And, they always point to me. Okay. But Foamer night,
hard hanging with
Pete
right
McCannon,
right?
No-hitter, all on my first night in the big league, my first game in the big leagues. That was kind of crazy.
That is a good story there, though.
Right. Well, there's always stories that surround it, because even then, I'm not going to. Well, I guess I will jump ahead. That you were the pitching coach when Kevin Millwood threw the no-hitter on Fanatic's birthday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was
back in the vet. Yeah, that was in what, 03 or 4?
That was
03. Last year. And that was against the Giants.
Right.
So
Giants been no-hit twice against us.
The first was against the Giants is Terry Mulholland.
That's a hell of a lineup.
Right.
And I keep remembering it's the sixth inning and he's got it going, and I'm saying, I think he's got to get through Bonds 2 more times. I'm thinking to myself, because as you're looking at the lineup, when's Bonds going to come up this, because you're always thinking that's the guy that's probably going to break.
You were looking at that.
Oh yeah, he's the guy.
Tommy, he was looking at that, but he wasn't looking at the pitch count.
Oh,
right?
No.
Back then?
No,
right. That's what I said. There's no pitch count, so you're not worried about that.
Well, he was under Bond. It was like, you heard the story about what they did with me. With Pods, Johnny Padres. Fregosi gave him a clicker, and he just asked him how many's he got? Comes after the game, he calls. He says, "The only reason I asked Pods what he got just to keep him in the ball game, because you couldn't see the the pitches on the screen. They didn't keep that stuff out there. They didn't care.
My last few years, my last year was 2010 as a pitching coach, and our limit was right around 120.
Yeah,
back then 115.
Right.
120.
We
you might go a little. You might go a little more if the guy had an extra day. He was pitching on the 6th day next time. You might go a few more.
Okay,
but now it's
hold on. Let's get back to that. So did Bonds get 2 more at bats?
Oh yeah.
And he got through him.
I'll tell you what, he handled him really good. He didn't let Bonds breathe. Everything in all day, in.
Yeah.
And there were some battles.
If I remember correctly, Ricky Leday had a nice catch. I think it was the 7th inning or so.
Save it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of special. It was early in the season too,
right?
If I remember.
Right.
So
again, going back to your playing career, you did Expos, then you're with the Orioles. You were traded over to the Orioles.
Yeah.
And then what I love about this, Tommy, is that
ballpark was devil.
You weren't that old. You were like 29 years old when you got out of playing.
Yeah.
And then you got a dream opportunity to be the bullpen coach for the Expos, which is be a coach for a minor league or for a major league team. Basically right out of playing, correct?
That's awesome.
I was very lucky. I was 29. I was out of baseball. I was working construction here. And I got a call from the Expos about a week into Major League camp, and they called me. I was going to go to A-ball, Gastonia, to be a pitcher, $12,000 a year.
It's your territory.
They were going to
Gastonia is my neck of the woods.
$12,000 a year. So I get a call, and it's the Expos general manager. And he says, you mind coming down to spring training and help us out a little bit? I said, sure. They had older coaches at the time, Billy DeMars, Vern Rapp.
They had
some older coaches. They couldn't throw batting. So I got down there, and they found out that I could catch, because that's what I did. I used to pitch and catch. A lot of guys, they pitch, shortstop, pitch out. No, I catched.
Right.
Because my brother was a catcher in the Phillies organization. So I used to catch, and I was catching batting practice, and I was catching games and B games before the A games, and I was throwing batting practice by the hour. And then Mel Wright, Bill Verdon's longtime pitching coach, who was the bullpen coach, he got sick. He got sick with cancer. So they took me with them to start the season. And then about a month into the season, Mel Wright died. And they made me the bullpen coach at 29 years old. And I was right place, right time. Youngest coach in the big leagues at 29. And I stayed there for 4 years as a bullpen coach, and we got Pete Rose. But the next year, it was kind of neat to, throw BP and hang around Pete Rose for a while. And
got to lock him in, huh?
Ooh, that guy, he went 0 for 4. Come on, let's go. You were down in the cage till about 12 o'clock midnight throwing BP to him, even at age 42. Yeah,
and then you went back to the minors, right?
For 5 years to be a pitching coach. And my first year, they sent me to Jacksonville, and they sent me to Jacksonville with this big, tall left-hander, 6'10".
Was that in 87?
Randy Johnson.
The Seagull killer.
That's when I run into him down there for the first time.
Right.
With the Braves. Yeah.
A lot of good pitchers on that team.
Yes, we did.
So
we had some matches against y'all's guys. Y'all had a good squad, dude.
This is a true story. At the end of spring training, Rick Williams, who then was Dick Williams' son, who was then the minor league pitching coordinator, he comes up to me. He says, hey, Joe, the big guy, just keep him healthy. We're going to probably release him around the June draft, and you'll get an influx of our good A-ball pitchers up when the June draft comes. I said, okay, I'll try to keep him healthy. Just keep him healthy. We're going to release him. Probably release him, he said. Oh, my God. I said, well, we'll see about that. And I took a special interest in the kid. It was like daring me.
Right.
So,
yeah. The rest is history. Right.
Because
he was wild.
I had him for 3. Yeah.
They thought he just had no control.
Wild, and he was an introvert.
Right.
you know, and
we
I
used
had
to have some wars against those guys.
I had him for 3 years in the minor leagues and the instructional league, and it was. When you look now, it was a lot of fun to see how he grew.
Yeah,
how where he was,
progress.
Hall of Fame. Something
Bad,
special.
Did you teach him that slider?
No, he didn't. He had that coming in out of USC.
Oh, he did.
Right.
Except, you know, one time it would break 3 feet, and the next time it would back up 3 feet, and one time it would hit the net behind home plate.
Well, you know, it's almost akin to Christopher Sanchez, because Christopher Sanchez, tall lefty who didn't have control, that Tampa Bay gave up on him, make the trade, and now he's turned into. I'm not saying he's turning into Randy Johnson, but.
Was it? Yeah. Was that? I mean, was his arm? I mean, with his arm angle and stuff, would he
get
under a lot of stuff?
He was always flat. Yeah, he was always flat.
Yeah.
But, you know, the major league manager and the major league pitching coach at the time didn't like him. And Dombrowski was in a real bind to trade him because he had to bring in an established pitcher to try to get him over the hump.
Right.
And he traded for Mark Langston.
Mark Langston, we went to the Mariners. Oh, my God.
And Dombrowski's the guy that traded
Brian Holman. Brian Holman was in that.
Holman.
Yeah.
Right?
Brian Holman was in that
Harris.
Yep.
Another right-hander through 95, 96 miles an hour.
All right, let's go. Yeah. We'll come back, and we're going to talk about more of the Joe Kerrigan's career. You're listening to the Bull Session presented by BCWSA. We are live from Chickies and Pete's at Parx Casino.
Hey, BCWSA customers. This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. My friends at BCWSA are committed to providing us with safe, reliable water and sewer services. They operate state-of-the-art treatment facilities, provide clean drinking water, and make much-needed investments to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future. Learn how BCWSA's investments help grow and serve our communities. Visit bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
Need auto service in a hurry? No one offers more service centers than the Peruzzi Automotive Group. More certified trained technicians to get you in and out. Appointments available within 24 hours. All makes and models. PA state inspections and emissions to major work including collision. All located on Route 1 in Fairless Hills. Visit any Peruzzi dealership for fast service. Peruzzi Buick GMC, Peruzzi Nissan, Mitsubishi, or Mazda, and their collision center.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Bring your party to Chickie and Pete's. We can handle groups of all sizes at our locations across the Delaware Valley. Big parties, small parties, company parties, family parties, get-togethers with friends. Order off the menu or our special catering options. We can do it all, including coming to your home or office or special Play 2 party packages at our South Philly location. Book your party today. Hurry, the space is limited. Visit chickieandpete's.com for details. Chickie and Pete's is official caterer of the Philadelphia Eagles Touchdown Club and a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Tommy Greene.
All right, we are back to the Bull Session, Chickies and Pete's in Parx Casino. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host Tommy Greene, our special guest, Joe Kerrigan. Yes, Tommy.
What was that they said coming in?
Director of Fun and Games. Yeah, there's no.
What was the first word in front of it?
No former.
No.
Director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said Phillies.
Phillies.
Director.
Yes. Well, I'm talking about the Phillies.
Oh, okay.
I do the podcast of the Phillies, so still,
I guess you
kind of there.
Still consider you there, right?
I'm going to consider
Emeritus. How about that? Emeritus.
I like that.
Emeritus.
Phillies Emeritus Director of Fun and Games.
Okay.
There you go. All right, so Joe, we'll speed forward. You were pitching coach for the Red Sox under Jimmy Williams, former coach also of the Phillies.
Yeah, great man.
Coach with the Braves.
Big baseball.
Like Bobby Cox.
Oh, my God.
Right out of the same, I mean, they're
right out of the same mold.
Yeah.
You know, and well, speaking of that, well, before you got, Jimmy got fired, then you became the manager, but you actually worked with you worked with Felipe Alou, a lot of legends.
Yeah.
You said Bill Burton, Felipe Alou, Jimmy Williams.
Earl Weaver, Dick Williams.
Larry Bowa.
How was Earl Weaver?
A mad scientist, but knew the game as good as anybody.
Yeah.
And ooh boy,
I never met him.
He was something else.
But you mentioned
he came out to the mound one time, and I was giving it up in old Cleveland Stadium. And he came out to the mound, and he had the hands in the back pockets, and he got up on the mound, and he says, "Kerrigan, what the hell am I going to do with you?" And turned around and walked right back in the dugout. That was it. Thanks for the advice, Earl. That's great.
Well, I also remember you telling me on the podcast that Felipe Alou, which you learned a lot from, right? You said you mentioned he was one of the smartest baseball guys, and he said a couple things about pitcher or batters in certain counts. He said if a guy hasn't swung at anything on
3-2 first time around the order.
Yep, and he hasn't swung a bat.
Hadn't swung the bat. We used to count them maybe 5 times a year. Guy would get a hit out of 1,000. 2,000. It's unbelievable because the guy hadn't felt a swing that day. And we used to follow it, and it's incredible. So if a guy fouls it off 3-2, then it's
all bets off.
And the other thing was 2-0.
2-0 count, right?
2-0 count. Guy throws a fastball, and the guy swings and misses. Very rarely will you see that at bat result in a hit. That was another Felipe-ism, because I know the fastball's coming. You're throwing it. Everybody knows. I swing. Now what are you going to do from there for the hitter? You miss the prime opportunity. 2-0 fastball, and you swing it. You don't foul the ball off.
Yeah.
So where do you go now? What are you going to do now? And very rarely will that result in a hit. It's a positive thing, and it's amazing some of his stuff.
Now, when you became the manager, did you feel it was more of like a placeholder at the time? Because I know they were going through some ownership change.
Yeah.
Right. John Henry was buying the team.
I was a babysitter for 5 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. We all knew that new ownership was coming in, and they were letting everybody go in spring training. Dan Duquette was the first one to let go, and he called me. He says, "Joe, you got about a week. They're going to get you. They got the farm director, they got the scouting director, they got most of the scouts." And I managed, probably about 10, 12 games in spring training. And then I was let go, and they brought a good friend of mine, Grady Little. A good friend.
Grady?
Yeah.
All right. So then Phillies hire you.
Yeah.
Now you're going back to your hometown, which has got to be cool, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's the last year of Vet Stadium when that is a crazy year because we just signed Tommy. Right. So there's all kinds of excitement because we signed Tommy, the biggest free agent signing since Pete Rose probably.
Oh, man.
Right? I mean, it was huge. And, and then again, throw in the fact that there's all the celebrations I remember because I was obviously working there, and we had celebrations all the time to, commemorate all the different plays and memories and players that took place at the Vet over all the years. So that was probably pretty cool being, it was just a magical, other than we had a good season. Like we were, I know we finished second place, probably 9 games out. But you could tell we were kind of on the right path.
Right. Well, what helped me is in 2002, I got a chance to do the pre and post game show on Comcast.
Yeah.
So I got to, watch the team and watch the pitchers, and that helped me a lot going in because I had like sort of hands-on knowledge of what the pitching staff was like and the composition of the team and, the coaches. I got to I knew Bo and Vuk already, and I got the great Gross. I got to know them a little bit more, but that helped me a lot, going into there. And it was really disappointing not to go out with a bang the last year of the Vet in 2003. That was a little disappointing, and I wish we could have been a little better there, but the last day of the Vet, they brought all the players out.
Yeah.
And the place, 60,000 people. That was incredible. You still had a bad taste in your mouth about how we didn't end the season on the right note, but still being there for that last ceremony was kind of special.
And what was it like working with? I know you had Millwood. We mentioned Millwood earlier. You had Randy Wolf. You had Padilla.
Well, we have what did we have? We had 4 guys that won 14 or 15 games that year.
Yeah,
which is kind of neat.
That's neat right there.
Yeah.
So that was Wolf, Millwood, Padilla, and Myers.
Myers, yeah.
Right, and Brett Myers, right.
Yeah.
And then you had our buddy Real Cormier, both with the Expos and the Phillies
and Boston.
Boston. Wow, you had them all 3.
What a great human being.
Yeah, and one of the
Frenchie.
and one of the great athletes of all time. People don't know that.
Died too young.
We got to know him really well. We all knew, you guys knew him from playing. Yeah. He came down to fantasy camp, and we got to know Real. What a great sense of humor. But Real, what people don't know, the guy was an unbelievable athlete.
Great athlete.
Yes. I mean, he ended up becoming like a scratch golfer. He ended up becoming a really good skier, at post playing days. He was the badminton champion in his province in Canada when he was a teenager. You probably didn't even know that, Tom.
Yeah, I heard he. I heard something about badminton, but I didn't know that.
Very humble guy. Dry sense of humor. Yeah, great family. Yeah, I was around Frenchie for a long time, and died way too young.
Yeah, very sad.
It's a shame.
And then 2004, that's when we opened up. So you were actually at not only the Vet and then Citizens Bank Park, but you were at Jack Russell Stadium and Bright House or whatever we called it back then. I forget what it was originally called.
Jack Russell. Yeah. Oh, Jack Russell.
No, Jack Russell. Then the first
Final
year of the new one. It was, I forget what they called that the first time.
I don't know. They've changed names like 8 times.
But, both were quite a change because, Jack Russell was a small place and, in kind of a
cinder block
little bit of a scary neighborhood. And
that's very lightly put.
Right. And then, this beautiful Citizens Bank Park. And tell the story, which I love the story, and includes the guy you worked with, Larry Boa. Or Tommy, I don't know if you remember this. First year of the ballpark. Mm-hmm. So we had to have 2 games against Cleveland to work out the kinks.
Yeah.
Right? We had to work 2 games.
Exhibition.
And that's, so the Aramark people know what they're doing. The kids get the concessions right. The ground crew get that right. Get all the different, get it all out before the games really start. Right? Brand new ballpark. So we have 2 exhibition games against Cleveland. We decide, and this is the last part of the story, then I'll let Joe take over. We decide for some reason that we're going to put our bullpen up in the upper level so so they can see the upper tier.
Yeah.
So they can have a better view of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what we didn't realize is we forgot about our fans.
Yes.
So Joe, take over the story.
Oh, they were right on top of you. I mean, breathing on you. I mean,
you were exposed.
They're yelling at you. So after the game, we went to Ruben and Ed Wade, general manager. The guys said, this ain't going to work.
Right.
We're going to have to switch. So thank God the next day they switched. All right. So we open up.
You had to switch the phones too.
Hold on. Yeah, they forgot the phone.
They forgot to switch the phone.
Forgot to switch phones.
Opening day.
Oh my God.
The phone goes off and it's the opposing manager telling me who to get up. I mean, oh God,
that's hilarious.
Incredible. It's incredible. So they had to switch the phones out. Yeah, we used walkie-talkies at first.
Well, so the story I heard was that I've been telling it wrong, that one of our pitchers in the first game was getting lit up, and Boa called, and he got the Cleveland dugout, and he's yelling at the Cleveland dugout because he thought it was our guy. Yeah. Says, "Get so and so warmed up." And the Cleveland bullpen guy's like, "What?" He's like, "Get so and so up." What? And next thing you know, he's like, "Who's this?" He's like, "Who's this?" It's Larry Boa. Well, this is a Cleveland bullpen catcher, right? So, and then they decide to switch the lines.
Yeah,
a few snacks, just a few snacks. But oh man, what a gorgeous ballpark! Oh. And I tell the story about batting practice. Doing batting practice the first time there to our pitchers,
right?
And normally you throw batting practice, you're going to take out a case of balls. There's 6 dozen in it, 72 baseballs, bring it out, throw it in the basket, All right, bunting, Now, we had some guys who can swing the pole.
Yeah.
Millwood and Padilla, Randy Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf
can swing.
Myers, these guys they can play home run derby with anybody.
Yeah. Even the bullpen guys. Okay, Real was a good hitter.
Now, fly ball, right field,
gone.
I mean, not even hit well.
Yeah.
Off the end of the bat, it's gone. Then a jam shot, then that's gone. So normally the BP lasts for about 15, 18 minutes, pitchers, because they're having fun. It's their time to have fun. We were almost out of balls after 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Pitchers BP. And I said to myself,
we used to love that.
Oh, boy, this ballpark. Woo. And, it was called a bandbox for a reason.
Right.
And I remember the first time I saw one, I was up watching the Braves. I mean, I was on the old deck circle on the third base side, 3 rows up, and I saw legitly Andrew Jones hit one off the label down the right field line the opposite way. It was like just under the second deck. I mean, he went up and underneath it. I said, oh, my God.
Right.
Oh, my God, this place is unbelievable.
Well, then Smoltz made a comment that made national news. This is the place is a bandbox, and Since now it's kind of settled in. It's not as known as much as a hitter's park. I know
it helps to have good starting pitching like the Phillies.
Yes, it does. Yeah. All right, coming up on the show, Joe. I want to talk about some of we talked off the air. You've actually worked with some legends, absolute pitching legends in the game. We talked about Randy Johnson, but talked about absolute. So I want to go through some of the names and tell me what it was like working with the likes of Pedro. And again, there's many, many more. Mariano Rivera. I mean, there's millions. So we'll talk about that when we get back. You're listening to Bull Session, presented by BCWSA. We are live from Chickies and Pete's at Parx Casino.
Hey, BCWSA customers, this is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. My friends at BCWSA are committed to providing us with safe, reliable water and sewer services. They operate state-of-the-art treatment facilities, provide clean drinking water, and make much-needed investments to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future. Learn how BCWSA's investments help grow and serve our communities. Visit bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
Need auto service in a hurry? No one offers more service centers than the Peruzzi Automotive Group. More certified trained technicians to get you in and out. Appointments available within 24 hours. All makes and models. PA state inspections and emissions to major work including collision. All located on Route 1 in Fairless Hills. Visit any Peruzzi dealership for fast service. Peruzzi Buick GMC, Peruzzi Nissan, Mitsubishi, or Mazda, and their collision center.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Bring your party to Chickie and Pete's. We can handle groups of all sizes at our locations across the Delaware Valley. Big parties, small parties, company parties, family parties, get-togethers with friends. Order off the menu or our special catering options. We can do it all, including coming to your home or office or special Play 2 party packages at our South Philly location. Book your party today. Hurry, the space is limited. Visit ChickieandPete's.com for details. Chickie and Pete's is official caterer of the Philadelphia Eagles Touchdown Club and a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Tommy Greene.
All right, we are back to the Bull Session at Chickies and Pete's in Parx Casino. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host, Tommy Greene, and our special guest, Joe Kerrigan. And Joe, I mentioned that you worked with, had the pleasure of all those years, obviously with Expos, with Yankees, with the Phillies. There's just some big names in baseball, and it's got to be, you got to look back on that and feel pretty proud. You're able to work with the likes, and I guess in the very beginning you mentioned Steve Rogers, Woody Fryman, and you worked with Dennis Martinez and guys like John Wetland and Jeff Fasaro, Pedro Martinez. I feel like Pedro Martinez followed you, right?
Yeah.
Because you had him for how many straight years?
Well, with Montreal and then Boston.
Yeah,
9 years. Yeah.
And let's start with Pedro, because Pedro, I'd love to get Pedro. I dealt with a lot of players, right, for a long time. Pedro was only on our team for a couple of years.
Right.
And I remember his first start was at Wrigley Field for the Phillies. ESPN game, big national game, because they wanted to see, Pedro in a Phillies uniform. And as you know, Wrigley, underneath, you got to go underneath from the dugout, and you go underneath, the stands. And then there's like a little staircase, a rickety staircase that goes up to the tiny little clubhouse, right? Yeah. So I remember
over like where the fans
corridor
are.
Yeah, the corridor.
Yeah. So we go up there. There's not a great place for ESPN to do an interview, right? So, and I was kind of the one to set that up. So first of all, in the beginning of before the game starts, Pedro just came over from the Mets, and so his shower kit still he had a Mets shower kit in his cubbyhole, right? And again, everyone can see everything because you're on top of everything. Yeah. And one of the players, I forget who it was, but maybe Burl or somebody, saw that and pulls the shaving kit with the Mets on and says, "Pedro, what's up with this?" And Pedro quickly, with a smile on his face, looks at the 16-year-old clubhouse kid. Because I told him to get me a Phillies one, but he never did. He probably never asked the kid. But the kid's shaking in his boots, and Pedro's blaming him for something. Yeah. So then, and then I think that same kid painted his cleats that were his blue Mets cleats and painted them red for Phillies. But after the game, I had to do it right under, like next to the staircase. ESPN.
Yeah.
So again, not the ideal place, but you had to do somewhere. So we do it down there, ESPN interviews. And probably the first time ever a player said to me, especially of his stature, said, "Hey man, thank you very much. Really appreciate it." I was like, "This is Pedro Martinez and he's thanking me." I didn't even get that from rookie players. So to me, like what a class guy, Pedro Martinez.
Yeah, we got him from the Dodgers when he was very young. 93, 94. Tommy Lasorda didn't believe he had the body to be a starter. So he put him in a bullpen, and Felipe, of course,
electric boy.
Saw him pitch in a Dominican and said, "No, this guy can start." So the first year and a half was a little rocky. He's a little immature. He had a little trouble finding his way. Good thing Felipe was there to kind of guide him in a fatherly way. He needed a lot of discipline back then. But once he learned the value of repetition, the value of good work habits, then he really started to take off. Then it was like, "Ooh, this is fun being a dominating pitcher." But I have to be more accountable. I have to respect the game more. And once he started to do that, it was a lot of fun to watch.
So that must have been pretty cool to see him from basically a raw, figure to raw pitcher to the polished Hall of Famer, one of the best of our generation.
Did he have big hands or just real
long fingers? Real long fingers. And his brother was like that.
Oh, yeah, Ramon.
The brother was a great pitcher for the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah, Ramon.
And, he had the same thing, same character. But he was a lot bigger than him.
He's like
6'5". They actually
Ramon was tall. Yeah, but he was like,
so
you could go back. Yeah, he was like weird. I think that made that change up so great.
But he would get into a game, whether it be the Yankees or whoever in the Yankee Stadium. I remember striking out 16 one night against maybe the best lineup in a decade.
Right.
The Yankees had at the time, and boy, he got into the game, tight game, 1-run game, about the 6th or 7th inning, and the lineup had to roll over again. And wow, he went from like 95, 96 to 97, 98. They had no chance. Don Zimmer called it the best pitch baseball game he had ever seen. Don Zimmer, the great longtime coach and manager, said, "I'll never forget that game." It's still on ESPN or the MLB network. They still have it as a classic. They play it a couple times a year, and it was wow.
Did Zim say that before or after they had their little scuffle at Fenway, of which I was at that game?
No, this is before. This was before.
Right.
Yeah, this is before.
That was the last time he said a kind word about it.
Yeah, probably.
Pedro smelled that game at the end. We called his starting pitcher. He wanted that game.
Okay, the perfect game he pitched in San Diego, he doesn't get credit for because it's 0-0 after 9 innings.
Right.
And that San Diego line, they had some guys that could rake. Finley and Tony Gwynn and the third baseman
Caminetti.
Yeah. Oh, they had some guys that can hit.
Now, when you had Wakefield, but had Wakefield been using the curve or the knuckleball at that point?
Oh yeah.
So did you have any say in helping develop that or
not? No, I had no idea. I was just along for the ride.
He come from Pittsburgh.
Right.
He was an infielder. He was a second baseman.
Yeah.
And they were going to release him, and they said, "Do you mind if I go down to the minor leagues?" And they got a pretty good knuckleball, and they took a look at his knuckleball. And they said, "Okay, we'll send you down." And then he made his way back up through the minor leagues with the
I remember
Pirates.
that when he came up. I remember when he brought him up.
But we would bring Negro in 2-3 times a year.
Okay.
And Negro would be like a tune-up specialist for Wakefield. I was what the hell I know about it?
Right.
What did anybody know about it?
Right.
So I would.
And what better than Nuxie to come in there?
I would get tips from Negro on what to look for, what to watch. Make sure he's finishing low. Don't let him finish high. That's when the knuckleball will get high on him. And Negro was right. If you want the ball go down low, you finish low. You want the ball to remain high, you stay high. And he was right. Even with a knuckleball, something that commonsensical, that basic, worked. And make sure he pushes the ball. Don't let him trying to throw the ball because that's actually what you do. You push the knuckleball. and make sure his head stays on the target. Don't let his head fade. All this little stuff like that you could use with normal pitchers.
Yeah.
But he would mess with his grip from time to time, and Nuxie was really good because who else understands teaching a knuckleball other than
that's when I first met Nuxie. I will never forget this. There's a quick little story with me. One of my first big league camps. I was down in West Palm Beach with Atlanta, and Nuxie's the bullpen coach. Believe that of all people. He's the freaking bullpen coach. What's he going to do down in the bullpen? Reliever, but we're out there early. Cup of coffee, had my glove beside me. I'm talking dews on the ground out there. It's real early in the morning. And Nuxie looks at me. He says, "You want to have a catch?" I'm like, yeah. I'm like a little kid in the candy store. I go out there and we're tossing. I said, "Hey, throw me one of them things." He says, "Nah, that's cold, just one." He threw me that thing.
Didn't want to hurt you.
No. Legit, dude.
Yeah, you got to hurt you.
You're catching here.
I legitly could have read the writing on the wall. It didn't spin anything like it just went like I put my glove up. I didn't even get glove on it. It went
right.
It was the most amazing thing ever. I just walked, sit back down to the dugout.
I used to catch all my starters in between starts. Because I was a catcher, so I'd put the gear on and catch every one of my pitchers for 20 years. I caught them on the side.
You get to see
the only guy I didn't. The only guy. That's right. You get to see what the hitter sees. The only guy I didn't catch, Wakefield. And I tried.
Right.
I tried one time.
You were gonna wear it.
And,
how about did you catch Rivera?
Oh yeah.
So Rivera, obviously, he perfected the cutter, right? Which is not hard to catch, but could you see as a catcher how hard it was for a batter to?
Yeah,
late.
He was the type of guy. He throws 16 to 17 pitches to get ready in the bullpen. That was it. He'd do a long toss. He'd be stretched long enough, and he'd throw 16, 17 pitches, and probably 12 or 13 were to that cut side inside the lefties away to righties, and maybe he would miss the target once, and that'd be probably by 2 ball whisks.
Right.
But I often say, like guys with like Saberhagen and Steve Rogers was that way, and Mariano Rivera, you could catch those guys with a bag over your head and the lights turned out.
Right.
That's how good a control they had. And, they were a lot of fun to see. Time after, they're like a good 3-throw shooter.
Yeah.
Can make 50, 60, 70 in a row. Well, same way with a good pitcher. Just hit that spot. Boom. Time and time and time and time again.
You're repeating that mechanics.
That's right. And when it came game time, just like throwing in a bullpen.
And you also dealt with, you worked with Eckersley.
Yeah.
Right.
At the end of his career.
But still,
he was a great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. Oh, and
he came up with Larry Anderson in the Cleveland system.
Oh my God, those two.
Imagine those two together.
He could throw some fire. He could throw some fire, but he still had the great slider.
Yeah.
He was 40, 41 years old, still had the great slider. But
as you see at the end, what's it come down to? Command.
Yeah. That's right.
Is there one?
Even though they know it's coming,
yeah.
Is there one pitcher in your career where you felt you had a big impact on their development? Whether it's teaching them a pitch, whether it's just maybe a young in their career, is there a pitcher that you felt
you saw the light bulb? We all were working, and the light bulb went off.
I don't know. There's a lot of guys that you wish you could have done more for because they had a lot of talent, and there's a lot of guys like Randy Johnson was more off the field development than it was on the field.
Yep.
Make sure he hung around the right people. Make sure he got the right roommates on the road. Make sure he went out the right lunch with the good 2-3 other pitchers on it. They were going to take care of him, and those guys are still close together. Those guys that nurtured him in Double-A and Jacksonville, they're still friends to this day. Brian Holman, Gary Wayne, those guys, John Troutwine, they still are tight knit with Randy Johnson to this day. And I think he really appreciates that, what they did helping him along. He walked into a restaurant, he wouldn't go out to eat because he'd be afraid. Because when he walked into a restaurant, all the utensils would go totally deaf.
Right.
Everything would stop and they would just stare at him.
Right.
And he was
out a little bit.
He was really conscious of that, and he did not want to go out. He would not go out in a public place. And it took those 3 guys to kind of nurture him along and say, hey, it's okay. We'll have fun with it,
Yeah, and people forget that, that Major League Baseball players are human beings. And I know like someone like a Jamie Moyer, who was almost out of the game early in his career, and he went down. Someone turned him on to Harvey Dorfman,
right.
And Harvey Dorfman, who is the first mental skills guy and probably not just baseball, but all of sports, who turned around a lot of people, Roy Halladay being one of them as well. But it's interesting that, that things like that, Joe, like the social side, the mental side, it's not just what you have in your arm. It's a lot of it, what you have in your head and nurturing someone along.
In the minor leagues, it's a lot different. We had a guy who had tremendous talent in the Expos organization, and he was struggling, and something was off. So we brought him in and say, hey, you could do this. Everything okay at home?
Yeah.
Everything with the family? And the kid broke down and told us that he was having trouble with his wife. She had an eating disorder. She was bulimic. She would go to all these classes in the morning and they'd get real skinny and, worried about her weight and stuff. And he says, it's just killing. It's eating. Well, we got her help, through the assistance employee program. The Expos did. And boy, after she got help and she got well,
and he took off.
I mean, it was. Won, I think he won 15 or 16 games in a row.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you off the air who the guy was, but it was incredible. Yeah, but you can do things like that in the minor leagues. All
right, Joe. When we come back, the last section, we're going to talk about the current team. I want to get your take on young Painter, Andrew Painter, some of the other pitchers that we have in our system. We're back coming at. We'll talk about that. You'll listen to the Bull Session at Chickies and Pete's Parx Casino with our special guest, Joe Kerrigan.
Hey, BCWSA customers. This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. My friends at BCWSA are committed to providing us with safe, reliable water and sewer services. They operate state-of-the-art treatment facilities, provide clean drinking water, and make much-needed investments to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future. Learn how BCWSA's investments help grow and serve our communities. Visit bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
Need auto service in a hurry? No one offers more service centers than the Peruzzi Automotive Group. More certified trained technicians to get you in and out. Appointments available within 24 hours. All makes and models. PA state inspections and emissions to major work including collision. All located on Route 1 in Fairless Hills. Visit any Peruzzi dealership for fast service. Peruzzi Buick GMC, Peruzzi Nissan, Mitsubishi, or Mazda, and their collision center.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Bring your party to Chickie and Pete's. We can handle groups of all sizes at our locations across the Delaware Valley. Big parties, small parties, company parties, family parties, get-togethers with friends. Order off the menu or our special catering options. We can do it all, including coming to your home or office or special Play 2 party packages at our South Philly location. Book your party today. Hurry, the space is limited. Visit ChickieandPete's.com for details. Chickie and Pete's is official caterer of the Philadelphia Eagles Touchdown Club and a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and Tommy Greene.
All right, we're back to the Bull Session, Chickies and Pete's at Parx Casino. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host Tommy Greene, our special guest Joe Kerrigan. All right, Joe, we've talked the past. Let's talk about the current. Fighting Phils right now. They've under Don Mattingly, they've taken a turn, but it is interesting that
how things happen.
Joe Girardi, with the Phillies, next thing you know, the team's struggling, and they fire Joe Girardi, and then Rob Thompson comes in. Next thing you know, they go on a great run. And same thing, the team this year struggles. There a lot of guys scuffled. The pitch, it was everything. It was a combination of pitching, hitting, and then he gets fired, and they bring in Don Mattingly, and next thing you know, the team goes on a run. Is it that the fact that the players feel guilty? Is it the fact that that it's just it's a kick in the butt because they know that they're responsible for a guy that they love and respect?
I don't think they could play any worse. I think they would do to play better, in my opinion.
The general manager always fires a manager, it seems, when the schedule's right.
Right.
So they played 3 series in a row against
good point.
Not really good baseball teams.
Yep.
And they were all lined up.
Yep.
Giants, to give the new manager a chance
Rockies.
For success. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it just happens. And when it's a shock.
Right.
Shock
in the system. Yeah.
I mean, people are in shock.
Yeah.
But it's also turn the page. It's a new season. We're 0-0. Let's start the season over. And that's what kind of the players feel. It's a new season. Let's go. Let's start it over. You know, I know we're 10 games under 500, but that you know, it's a new season. So that helps in a way of wiping the slate.
Well, let's go through the pitchers. We mentioned, the great story of Christopher Sanchez, who we got in a trade with Tampa, and he was, again, a raw piece of clay.
Yeah.
And
always had a good arm.
Big lefty. But then something clicked with us is that next thing you know, he started getting command and, control. And then he started developing some pitches or enhancing pitches he already had. I mean, that's a story where, again, you mentioned Randy Johnson. It's kind of that similar take where he had it in him. It's whether you can get it out of him.
You got a good change
from here to here.
You got a good change up, and he'll throw it upwards of 40 times a game.
Yeah.
Right.
And when it's a hot pitch, you can sit on it. And you're still not going to hit that type of change up because it's really not a change up. It's a screwball. Is what it is. That's how much it moves. And sometimes he cuts it by accident, and it'll move like a mini slider.
Yeah.
But when you have a pitch like a changeup that's good. I mean, Tom Glavine pitched with it for 20, 22 years in the big leagues with an average fastball.
Right.
It's that good a pitch. But
and command of it.
Yeah. And
were you surprised that his progression, how it just –
Yeah. I think everybody was.
Right. Because when we first saw him, again, we're like, who's this guy? What do we get? And
to throw 95 to 97 miles an hour with that type of changeup. And they said, well, if you could ever master a slider. Well, if you ever can master a slider, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Right.
Let's not get greedy. He's got
he
2 well above pitches right now.
And he can pitch with those.
Yeah.
But he's adding into that slider now. Yeah. It's not a bad slider. He's getting there with it.
All right, let's go to Zach Wheeler. What have you seen with Zach since he's come back from his injury?
Way better than I expected. Those guys that come back, number one, they come back so soon. I've been around those guys that take upwards of a year to come back.
Right.
And have to build velocity up over a period of 2, 3, 4 months. This guy came back in almost record time. And man, he's right back where he was, 94 to 96 miles an hour. Great command. That's the other thing. He didn't lose any of his touch and feel. Great command. His breaking balls there, his change-ups there, and he's maintaining 94, 95 through 60, 70, 80 pitches, which is even more impressive.
Mm-hmm. And I guess he got natural rest with his arm by injury.
Maybe.
Anytime
but that's a difficult
you said the
surgery.
big thing. You said the big thing to feel. Anytime you start screwing around with the shoulder like that, your proprioception out front like that is, because they got rid of some stuff in there. So it's a little bit different inside his shoulder right now. And he's having to relearn himself. And that's a huge thing, All
right, let's go to Nola. Now, Nola's had a good outing, his last outing, and he's been – again, he's in the beginning of the year, while Rob Thompson was managing, no fault with Rob, obviously, but he was going to a 6 ERA. He's had a couple good starts of late. Can you see Nola kind of continuing that success, or do you think there's still that, it seems he's got that 1 inning issue where he gets up?
My big question, I guess that's who I wanted to talk to him about a little bit. What does he see in Nola with his, we might have talked about him in the past, the last time we were together talking about his mechanics. There's more things to me it looks like can go wrong with him, his angles and the way he flattens out and he stays in that zone, where it's more hittable.
I've talked on and off to Robbie Thompson about this the last few years. Stretch. At one point last year and the year before, they were hitting almost 100 points higher out of the stretch than the windup.
Right.
He's having all kinds of trouble in the stretch. He couldn't get the second or third out once he got in the stretch. And Robbie and I talked a lot. I talked a little bit about it. I thought his alignment, it was wide open when he came set in the stretch. He never got turned. Hitters were seeing the ball early. Yeah. anyway, that would for a couple of years that was a big problem. I think he's got that solved now a little better, but he's got to learn who he is. I'm a sinker ball, curveball pitcher. I can't force that ball in the left-handers too much anymore. That cutter, throw it in the trash. It's no good.
Right.
Terrible pitch. Let's go 3 basic fastball, sinker, curveball, changeup. You know, not the power guy. You know, he was never a power guy to be in. But let's learn how to pitch like Webb with the Giants. Let's bury that ball on the ground.
Right.
Ground ball at the ground. And he still too many high sinkers, too many flat high sinkers. He get away with that because he used to throw 94, 95. Not anymore. So he's still trying to rediscover who he is, I think, with his stuff.
Right.
And I think he'll get that.
It starts with the mentality and believing in yourself that you can stay down at the bottom of the zone consistently.
Yeah.
You know, that's where it starts. And I think the big thing about the game now, everybody wants you to pitch up in the zone.
Right.
You know, analytics and all that crap. You know, I mean, don't get me started on
that. And then tell me what you see of Painter. We have a couple minutes left. With Andrew Painter, you know, obviously he's a young pitcher, rookie pitcher, so he's struggled a little bit, but he's also shown flashes of what everyone sees.
Maybe not his fault. Over 5 ERA in AAA last year. He's not ready to pitch in the big leagues. It used to be said that you have to pitch yourself out of that league to get to the next league, and he hasn't even been close to that. So I just don't think he's ready for prime time, simply because he's had enough experience, had enough repetitions on the mound. And you're expecting a guy to pitch good in the big leagues when he had over a 5 ERA in AAA? No, the magic wand, you just don't rig a magic wand over somebody and say you're going to be good in the big league because you got good stuff. I saw a stat this week, the straightest fastball in the big leagues by movement.
Right.
The straightest out of 100 pitches. 100 pitchers.
That means
the straightest fastball. That's not good.
No, that's not good.
I don't care how hard you throw it.
All right, we got 1 minute. We got 1 minute left to talk about Luzardo, the last starter.
Yeah,
he's fun to watch. Again, he's got tipping issues. You know, he has a lot of problems when the opposing team is in the first base dugout because they can get a good look at him. When the opposing team's in the third base dugout, he seems to pitch really well because you can't see that glove. You can't see that movement.
Right.
You can't see him gripping the ball. And I think they got that problem solved. But at times he's got unhittable stuff. You know,
filthy.
You know,
you wonder why. You know,
he's matured. You know, he's going to get it. He had success last year. He's going to be fine.
I think he's just getting caught like one inning. You know, I mean, but you look at the stats and stuff. When I start seeing the big thing that I look at it, innings pitch and giving up more hits than innings.
Yeah,
that's what I start watching a little bit. You know, some of them are weak, bleedy hits. Yeah. I mean, but still, that's when you start base runners, and that's when you give up runs. You know, I mean, that type of thing. That's what's been happening.
Another guy gets in the stretch and can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Do you see this team continuing to kind of, again, they're playing lesser teams now.
Right.
But when we start to play,
it's tough stretch.
I know we have the Dodgers coming up.
Tough stretch. Cubs coming up.
Coming up.
Pittsburgh's a good team. Now,
right.
They got Pittsburgh. Yeah. Fenway, they move into it. I don't care what Fenway Red Sox are always tough at home.
Yep. So, I mean, it's going to be a little tougher.
Right.
But it's good to see Schwarber. It's good to see Marsh. I wonder if Marsh.
I'm really happy for that dude.
Yeah.
I think he's a good young man. Is having good success right now. It's well deserved too. He's been busted.
And we'll see if he's going to be playing against lefties. Obviously, they've platooned, but he's again having success. He's having a kind of a breakout year this year.
I mean, they got a shot at the wild card. I don't think it's realistic to think they're going to win the division.
Yeah,
the Braves are just too strong this year, you know, and they're going to have people coming back. Strider just came back for them, and what that's going to do for their rotation.
Yeah,
but I think they'll. Interesting games in September. Let's play meaningful games in September and hope they have a shot at the wild card.
Yep. All right. Well, that wraps up tonight's Bull Session presented by BCWSA Utilities. I'd like to thank my co-host, Tommy Greene, our special guest, Joe Kerrigan, our on-site engineer, Chris Ermer, and Chickies and Pizza, Parx Casino, for hosting us today. And thank you for listening. We're going to be back next Monday at Chickies and Pizza in South Philly at noon with one of our Phillies relievers. We'll keep that a tease.
No, really?
Yeah, only because I don't know who it is. But it will be a Phillies player. Until then, have a great week. And as the late, great Harry the K says,
we're out of here.